Every paycheck you've ever cashed is a rental agreement for your compliance. Most people think they understand their job. They trade time for money. It's a simple, clean transaction. This view is dangerously incomplete. The relationship between your salary and your freedom is a battleground of psychology, economics, and power, where brilliant people disagree with startling intensity. Where do you stand? By the end of this, you might see the org chart in a whole new light. One side of the debate frames employment as a pragmatic voluntary contract. A company takes on enormous financial risk, it invests capital, builds infrastructure, and navigates a market that could bankrupt it tomorrow. You, the employee, take on almost none of that risk. In exchange for your skills and your 40 hours a week, you get a predictable, stable income. Your mortgage gets paid whether the company had a great quarter or a terrible one. The founder is eating ramen and burning through their life savings. You are getting your direct deposit on the 15th of the month, every month. From this perspective, the authority of your boss is entirely justified. It's a direct consequence of who holds the risk. They need to direct resources, including your time and attention, toward activities that generate a return on their massive investment. Your boss's power is simply the steering wheel of the economic engine they are responsible for. It's business. The org chart is a map of financial liability. The higher you are, the more of the company's existential risk you carry. The power that comes with that position is a tool required to manage that risk. That sounds perfectly rational, it's clean, logical, and removes emotion from the equation. But a problem emerges the moment you look at the real-world context. This model of a voluntary contract assumes both parties have equal power to walk away. For the vast majority of people, this is a fantasy. The alternative to your job is rarely choosing a better opportunity. More often, the alternative is failing to make rent. It's the inability to afford medicine for a sick child. It's the creeping panic of a dwindling savings account. This is the point where the paycheck changes its nature. It ceases to be just compensation. It becomes a leash. The employer knows this. You know this, and this shared unspoken knowledge is the foundation of their real power. The power is in the fact that your boss's worst-case scenario is a missed quarterly target. Your worst-case scenario is personal ruin. This desperation gives the employer leverage that extends far beyond the written job description. It's what makes you answer that urgent email at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. It's what makes you sit quietly in a meeting while a bad idea is steamrolling forward. The paycheck buys your skills, but the fear of losing that paycheck buys your obedience. And yet, this bleak picture feels incomplete. Millions of people build fulfilling careers. They find autonomy, mastery, and purpose in their work. They respect their bosses and feel like part of a valued team. Are they all simply deluding themselves, suffering from a form of corporate Stockholm syndrome? Or is there another layer to this dynamic? The truth is, the power of a paycheck is rooted in something deeper than just economics. It's psychological. From a young age, we are trained to seek external validation. Gold stars in kindergarten become grades in high school, which become a salary in adulthood. The number on your pay stub is rarely just a number. It is a quantifier of your worth. It's a measure of your status, your competence, and your value to the tribe. A company doesn't just buy your labor, it taps into your fundamental human need for recognition and security. Your boss, as the person who controls the flow of that validation, gains immense psychological influence. They can deploy praise to make you feel seen. They can offer a small title change to make you feel important. They can give a token bonus that costs the company very little, but sends a powerful signal about your standing. Imagine you receive a performance review. The feedback is positive, but your annual raise is only 1%. The financial impact is negligible, a few extra dollars per week. The emotional impact, however, can be devastating. The message you receive is, you are worth 1% more than last year. It feels like a judgment on your entire contribution, your growth, your very identity within the organization. The money is a symbol, and your boss is the master of those symbols. This is why corporate culture is so effective. Companies wrap this psychological leverage in the language of community, mission, and family. They create an environment where leaving feels like a personal betrayal, and asking for more money feels greedy or disloyal. They aren't just managing employees, they are managing identities. The "we're a family here" speech is the most potent and insidious tool in the manager's toolkit. It recasts a purely economic relationship as an emotional one, making the inherent power imbalance feel like care instead of control. It works because we are wired to want to belong. The paycheck becomes the price of admission to that family. A family you can be unceremoniously kicked out of the moment financials get tight. That sounds convincing, but it positions the boss as a calculating puppet master, pulling the strings of their unsuspecting employees. What happens when we turn the camera around? Is your boss truly the king on the chessboard, or are they just a more powerful pawn? Consider the life of a middle manager. They are caught in a relentless squeeze. From above, senior leadership hands down aggressive targets, headcount reductions, and unpopular new policies. From below, their team expresses frustration, resistance, and burnout. The manager is tasked with implementing decisions they may personally disagree with, using the authority of their position to enforce rules that make their own life and the lives of their team more difficult. They have to tell their best engineer there's no budget for a raise, even when they know the engineer deserves one. They have to announce a mandatory return to office policy while knowing it will destroy team morale. Their power over you is often a direct function of someone else's power over them. They are a conduit for pressure, a shock absorber in a system designed to pass accountability downwards and profits upwards. Their control feels absolute, from your perspective. From theirs, it feels like they have no control at all. They are just as trapped by the structure as you are. They simply have a slightly nicer cage with a better view. This reveals the core tension at the heart of the entire arrangement. The power doesn't truly reside in the person of your boss, it resides in the structure of the organization itself. The modern corporation is a machine designed for one purpose: to convert human effort into capital. The paycheck is the fuel for that machine. It's the operating system that ensures all the individual components, the humans, work in a coordinated, predictable fashion toward that single goal. Economists have studied this for decades. There are established models for the principal-agent problem, for asymmetric information, and for the gross disparity in bargaining power between capital and labor. The data is overwhelming. Since the 1980s, in most Western economies, worker productivity has soared while median wages have remained largely stagnant. The machine has gotten much better at converting your effort into capital, and less of that capital is being returned to you as the fuel. The empirical consensus is clear. The system is imbalanced. So the real debate isn't whether a power asymmetry exists. It does. The far more interesting question is why we so readily accept it. Why do so many people defend the very structure that limits their own autonomy and earnings? Part of the answer lies in the potent ideology of meritocracy. We are taught to believe that the hierarchy is fair, that those at the top earn their position through talent and hard work. We accept our own lower position because we believe that with enough grit, we too can climb the ladder. The manager's power is acceptable because we aspire to one day wield it ourselves. It's a system that sells a lottery ticket with every paycheck. And the prize is the chance to become the one holding the leash. Another part of the answer is a deep-seated desire for security, true autonomy. The life of a freelancer or a small business owner is terrifying. It means no guaranteed income, no health insurance, no paid vacation. It is a wilderness of constant uncertainty. The corporate world, for all its flaws, offers a fenced-in pasture. It may be limiting, but it's safe. We accept the power of the boss as the price for protection from the chaos of the open market. The paycheck doesn't just buy your groceries, it buys you freedom from a certain kind of fear, even as it introduces another. On one hand, the authority that comes with a paycheck is a necessary component of a functioning economy. It allows for the organization of complex tasks, the management of risk, and the creation of value at a scale no individual could achieve alone. It's the practical, unavoidable physics of doing business. On the other hand, that same authority, tied to our deepest needs for survival and validation, becomes a profound instrument of control. It's a tool that can demand not just your time and skill, but your silence, your conformity, and even the performance of enthusiasm you may not feel. It quietly annexes parts of your life and identity that were never mentioned in the job offer. The system works, it builds our world, but it runs on this uncomfortable, deeply personal power differential. So where do you draw the line? At what point does a fair contract for your time become a rental agreement for your soul? And when you cash your next paycheck, what exactly do you believe you are being paid for?